Alright guys, for this video I've got to work on the riding mower. It's a Poulan Pro 19A42. It's super slow. I mean, it barely wants to pull me up a hill. Almost has no reverse. I've had this issue for a while and I've replaced some parts on the RS800 transmission, but it's still slow and has no reverse. So I bought a belt, and I suspect that the belt's either wore out or it's stretched, or somebody put a belt on that's too long, because I can look at, when I engage the throttle, the belt's just slipping, and there's no other logical explanation why the belt would be slipping other than the fact that the belt's stretched, worn out, or it's too long. So let's do it. Let's get this thing fixed. All right, here she is. She's yeah, she runs and she moves sometimes. So I got this for free. It's sitting out behind my mother-in-law's shed for 3 years, sitting in the rain. I had to put a new carburetor on it. I've done a lot of stuff to this thing just to get it to run. So it comes with custom paint job. My custom proprietary blade engager. It works. I mean, it's a little sketchy, but it works. It was missing the bracket. So as opposed to me finding another bracket or buying a bracket, which I could not find a bracket, I came up with this, and it works as long as you don't, get your hand under the deck while it's engaged. But why would you do that? That would just be stupid. Front tires leak slowly, but put air in them, they're good. This one, yep, it's got 3 plugs in the sidewall. So don't ever let anybody tell you can't plug a sidewall with a plug. I wouldn't do it on a car, but riding mower is fine. So yeah, that's it. It's a piece of junk, but it cuts the grass. So I don't want to go out and buy a new one for $3,000-$4,000. It's pretty much what they're going for. I was at Home Depot the other night, and cheapest base model they had was $2,700. Now I'm good. I'll just keep fixing this and cutting the grass with this. It's grass, it's not a car. So let me get this thing in the garage and we'll get to it. All right, so here's some of the tools you're gonna need. There's the belt. That's pretty much all the tools you need. This thing is really easy to take out. The first time I took it out, I thought it was gonna be a pain in the butt, but it doesn't take long at all. I mean, I wish it was easy to pull the transmission in and out of that thing as it was this. In that, it sucks. It takes about 2 days to do it by yourself in the garage. It's like trying to put a 350-pound chunk of aluminum and steel inside a hole that it's not big enough for it to go inside of until it's actually in there. So, but let's get this done. Put a rock in front of the front tire so it doesn't roll out of the garage. I'm gonna pull the jack over here. I'm gonna lift the back of this up. I think the jack's a little overkill, but it's what I got handy. I got that one, but I can't find the bar to it, so we're just gonna use this. All right, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pull the back tires off. If your mower has these caps on there, these things are a pain in the butt to take off. The best way to get them off is to heat them up with a heat gun, or I guess you could use a lighter, but just don't get too close to it. As soon as you heat them up with that heat gun, they come right off. So mine are already off. So you got these 2 clips in, or this 1 clip in here. You're just gonna get in there with a screwdriver and work it off. Don't lose them because you're gonna need them. Pull the washer off. Come around to the other side, do the same thing. Just get in there with a screwdriver, twist the screwdriver and work these off. Come on. There we go. I got it. Pull the washer off. All right, when you pull these tires off, you want to be careful because there's a, I don't know, a pin, a keyway. I'm not sure. There's a pin that fits in the keyway, I guess. That's in there. And you cannot lose these. You're going to need them when you put it back together. So there's another washer. Pull that off. Might want to wear gloves because there's grease all over this axle that comes out of the transmission. I don't know if it's leaking or not, but looks good to me. Let's go do the other one. Just pull them straight out, kind of wiggle them a little bit. And they'll come off. You can take this transmission out without taking the tires off, but I made that mistake the first time and it was a pain in the butt. What is wrong with these pliers? There we go. There's another keyway. Or pin. It fits in the keyway, I guess. Whatever you call it. Alright, so to remove this transmission, you got a couple things in here that you've got to remove. You know, the springs, there's a connector in there. You got one bolt here, 2 bolts here, and the same thing on the other side. So first we're gonna pull up the seat. You're gonna want to disconnect your seat safety switch thing that makes it so it only runs when you're sitting in the seat, but as you can see, mine's bypassed. It'll run no matter what. So let me get this tray out of here, and there's 2 tabs on each side. You just pull those tabs out and you lift the tray out. So I'll be back in a second. All right, I got the battery tray out, and so let me get a light so you guys can see better. So if you look down in here, so this belt right here, hold on. Come on, stay up there. This belt right here is the one in question. Look how loose that is. I don't think that's right. That should not be that loose. I mean, I'm not a, you know, lawn tractor mechanic. So first thing we're gonna take off is gonna be the reverse mow switch, which is right there, which is gonna be right here. Allows you to be able to mow in reverse. So we're gonna pull that off, and then we're gonna remove the main drive belt from the top of this pulley right here. So how are you gonna do this? You just push the clutch down and it loosens the belt. And we're just gonna pull it off the top of the pulley like so. Super easy. So we're gonna take this belt and we're just gonna cram it further up there. All right. Next thing we're gonna take off is this little clip right here. This is your throttle shaft or bar, whatever. Whenever you push down the throttle, this pulls or it goes in or out. So we're gonna take this little clip off here. Don't lose that clip because you can't find another one unless you order the whole kit to rebuild the outside of this transmission. And I don't even know what it's called to find an aftermarket one. So once that clip is off, just use a pair of needle nose for that. You're just gonna lift this bar up off that shaft right here. And you're gonna slide it forward a little bit, okay? So next thing we're gonna take off is there's a cotter pin. Right here that holds this spring on. Okay, so we're gonna take that cotter pin off next. All right, I got the cotter pin off and it broke, so I gotta see if I can find another one, which I don't think I have one, so I might have to put that one on temporarily and just get another one. All right, so on the outside of that spring, there's gonna be this washer that holds it on. And then it's just gonna be the washer on, spring on, washer on, cotter pin on. So let's put this over here so we don't lose it. All right, let's grab the light. So that is pretty much everything except for the bolts that we need to take off. So let's get on with the bolts, get this thing off. All right, on the front side of the transmission, there's two brackets, one on each side. If you take these bolts out first, it's easier to get this thing to swing down once you loosen these up. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna grab some blocks of wood to put under here to support the transmission when it's loose. It weighs like maybe 25 pounds, maybe 30. I don't know. It's not heavy at all. So that should be good right there. So now we're gonna, with your 1/2-inch socket or wrench or power tools, whatever. I just don't want to fire up the air compressor because it's loud. Got one out. Got the other one out. All right, now for the two bolts on each side for the axle, you're gonna need a wrench, or yeah, 1/2-inch wrench to hold the bolt while you're loosening it, because it will spin. Just put these back together so we don't lose them. All right, now this one, we're gonna loosen it, but we're not gonna take it all the way out. Get on there. You guys bear with me. I've had a sinus infection for about a week and it's finally getting better. Now the transmission's starting to move around. Alright, let's just go ahead and take this one all the way out because we got our blocks under there. All right, now we're on the other side. Finish taking this one out. All right, see how the transmission just drops down on the boards? She is completely disconnected now and ready to come out. So now I'm just gonna lift it up. Start moving these boards out if I can. There we go. Ow, that's one. I mean, you could do this with one person. This thing is pretty light. Just don't be beaten on this thing, because this transmission is also known as the plastic transmission, because everything on this transmission is made out of plastic except for the internal gears. All right, so here's what we got. So I'm sure yours is going to look a little different, because all this stuff under these belts is covered up with plastic. Well, when I first took this thing out, took it apart, all those covers fell apart. So every time I cut the grass, I got to spray this thing out with compressed air, not compressed air, air from the air compressor, and get all the grass out of there, because these parts will not engage. I spray them down with WD-40 every now and then to keep them loose and nice and lubed, and you know, stuff like that. So, all right, so recently when I, you know, was trying to fix this thing initially, when it wouldn't go fast and had no reverse and wouldn't pull me up a hill, I ordered this set right here, and that did not fix it. And I can already tell you what was wrong with it, and we'll get there here in a minute when I pull the belt out. But one tool I didn't bring over here, you need a Torx 20 for these screws. So I don't have a Torx 20, so I just made one out of a bit and a small socket. So let me get this off. Oh, that's backwards. This thing's wanting to fall out. All right, I got the screws out. We're just gonna lift this off. So initially, when I replaced this part, I thought it was this part that was bad, because see this plastic V, see how this silver thing is creating these V's? Well, the plastic also creates a V, and my V's on the plastic wore all the way down. So I thought that was the issue. Well, I guess it wasn't. I mean, I guess it could have contributed a little bit, but it wasn't the whole issue. So how are you going to take this off? There's a little pin in the top right here. You're just going to push down on this and pull that pin out. Like that. Pull the pin out, and then this, holy moly, slides off. That was hard. With a spring under it. And then this slides off. All right, so when I ordered the kit, it came with this bottom pulley, but I did not order the tool to get this nut out. There's a tool that you put around this pin and you hold with a wrench to get this nut out, because, well, you can't take that nut out because it spins freely. And if you do take this off, be careful. There's 8 ball bearings underneath there. If you don't put them back in there, it's not going to work. So now we've got to remove these 4 bolts. And I think we have to remove this. I can't remember, but we'll get there here in a second. So let's remove that. All right, I called these bolts. They're actually screws. So for this, these screws over here is a Torx 25. Loosen that up a little bit. All right, so as opposed to taking this out, we're just gonna lift this whole assembly up out of the little cradle it sits in. If you didn't do that, you would have to take this bolt off, and I don't wanna fire up the compressor because it's loud. So we're just gonna lift this whole thing up and take the belt off. So that is the belt, and I can already tell you that's not, I don't think that's the right belt. Let me go grab this other belt. This is the belt I got on Amazon. It was only 10 bucks, so pretty good deal. Let's compare the two. They're the same length, but look at that. Look at the difference in the width. This one's about a 1/2 inch wide. This one's about 3/4 of an inch wide. So I don't know if it wore down or what, or if it's the wrong belt. It doesn't look like it wore down. I think somebody put the wrong belt on here. Yeah, that's definitely not the right belt. So let's get this thing on. And this mechanism, or whatever it is, just sits right down inside that little cradle right there. Just like that. So put these screws back in here. There we go. Almost across thread too. Guys, when you're putting these things back in, be careful, because you're literally screwing them down into plastic. This whole thing is plastic. All the mounting points are plastic, just about. So you don't want to over torque these. So now we're going to put this back over top of this. Push it all the way down as far as it'll go. I'm going to grab our spring, put it on there. Our rectangular aluminum Chinesium plate. And you're just going to push that down all the way until that hole is exposed. And you just slide the pin in there. Get the pin in there, get it lined up, and oh yeah, that's so much better. So the way this works is the main drive belt goes on this pulley, spins this, and when you put it in forward, it lifts this up, puts pressure on this, which in turn spins this belt, which spins the transmission, which spins the wheels. So put this cap back on. I don't know which holes it went in. I guess it doesn't matter because there's extra holes. Getting their back end's a little more difficult with one person. It's not hard, it's just, you know, some maneuvering and lifting. So, just going to slide her back in here. Throw some wood up under there. All right, when putting this thing back in, I found it's easier once you get this tab that mounts to the frame lined up. You just get this bolt and the one on the other side in, and then you just swing the transmission up into place for these back 2 bolts on each side. Don't tighten these, keep them loose. Finger tighten only. Let's go ahead and stick this in there. Finger tighten only. Oh, let's get this out of the way. Come on. There we go. Finger tighten. Now we're going to get 1 bolt in on the axle on each side. Just see. Boom. Just lift it up just like that. Oh, no. Come back. The 2 in on this side. Alright, now we're just going to tighten everything down. You also don't want to over tighten these because these axles are surrounded by plastic. I'm gonna crack this plastic. Okay, those 2 are tight. Let's go to the other side and do those. Oops. All right, those 2 are tight. So now we'll start putting everything back together on the inside. So, let me grab my flashlight so you guys can see. So your throttle rod, you're gonna put on that post right there. And then we're gonna put this little washer, lock washer thingy on there. Little lock washer is gonna go, move the flashlight, oops, on this throttle post. I know you guys can't see, my arm's in the way. There, right there. All right, so now we're gonna put the spring. Oh, the spring fell out completely. Let me grab the spring. I got the spring. If you look at it, you got a short bend and then a long bend. That long bend is gonna go right there in that hole. Might be a little tight to get it in there. Got it. And then we're gonna put the other end on that bar right there. All right, off camera, I've got that spring back on with the washer and the cotter pin. I needed 2 hands, sorry. Now we're gonna find our reverse mow plug, which is way down here. And we're gonna plug it back up. It goes on the front right, or front left side of the transmission. Okay. And we have our bar to disengage the transmission so we can freewheel the mower. We're going to stick it back in the hole. Alright. Now we're going to pull our belt, our main drive belt up here, which is stuck on everything. When you pull your main drive belt up, you want to make sure that it's not off of the idler pulley. So in this case, this one is back on the idler pulley, just like so. All right, belt is back on. Everything is back together the way it needs to be. We just got to put the battery tray back in, hook the, I don't know, the seat safety switch back up, and get this thing going. See if it fixes it. I hope it does, because I'm tired of throwing parts at it. I'll be back in a second, guys. When you pull your seat safety switch through the hole in the battery tray, you want to make sure that you pull it all the way up, and it actually tabs into the frame of the seat where it mounts to the frame of the mower. You don't want this down there flapping around, rubbing up against those belts, because it will get caught. So well, guys, she works. She actually moves now. She's actually really fast. So, do me a favor, like and subscribe. I know the videos are kind of on the lousy part because I've never done this before. But just do me a favor, subscribe so I can get this channel going. And I'm going to try to do a video every week. There's going to be, you know, DIY stuff, working on cars, fixing stuff around the house, camping, fishing, hunting, you know, stuff like that. So they're going to get better. So just do me a favor, like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye.